Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Starladder Season 12. We're live here from DreamHack Bucharest. Cloud9 currently have Alliance on the back foot, leading 1-0 in the best of 3.
Yeah, Cloud9, just a slow, steady steamroll there. They found a strategy that worked. It's something they pull out every now and then, as mentioned, but I don't know if they'll go for the same thing in Game 2. I feel like they may go for a bit more of a standard Cloud9 draft come Game 2.
It is worth mentioning, Sniper is now 7-0 in this tournament. That is one hell of a record.
All right, I didn't believe it before, but now I believe it. Sniper's a good hero. Takes me 7 wins.
This is going a little beyond good hero. This is going into ridiculous territory.
Yeah,
it just feels like he fits every style. Like this was like, we've seen him work in like the 5-man death ball. We've seen him look in a turtle for late game defensively strategies.
Yeah.
We've seen him work okay in more like mixed drafts where they have some gank, some push. It just feels like there's no bad draft for the hero.
And importantly, he's good against the troll. So you can leave the troll in the pool if you have first pick and you take the sniper. And that was where Cloud9's like, well, we have first pick, we're not betting sniper.
Now, I don't think we've actually seen sniper versus a Storm or a Bat Rider yet, but I think it's only really been against Clockwork, who's not the best catch.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of Clockwork going late game and then he just gets crushed by DPS carries or initiates. Like in that game we saw Nico, he went for eggs and the eggs didn't really pay off because most of the time he didn't live more than 12 seconds to use the second one anyways. So it's like you initiate and you use Blade Mail and things go well, or that's it. Like I just feel like Clock is maybe underperforming as well. Maybe he's not as useful as people think he is. He's good against Bat Riders sometimes, I think.
There's some games I see Clock and the hero just looks ridiculously strong, but I feel like most of the time we're seeing it, it just feels like it's a hero who can't really keep up in farm, doesn't stay alive long enough after he hooks in, and only works if you've got certain heroes to back him up.
And Nico had some really good hooks that game.
Yep.
There was the one fight down in the river where he got like a 3-hero cog hook, set up his troll to do quite a bit of damage. The other thing is, this was another good Omni Knight game. We saw one yesterday from, I believe it was Team Malaysia with the Juggernaut Omni Knight, and they had to buy 2 Diffusal Blades, one of them on their troll, just to try and counter-repel. That is, if you force out that big of a spend from core heroes, just, well, it was Avenge of the troll who bought it, but just to deal with the support, I feel like you've already won from a strategic standpoint.
Yeah. If you have a lineup which you can kind of guarantee you get to that mid to late game stage without getting punished too much in the lanes, Omni's great. And because they even ran it as an offlane hero as well, it was like, well, we're not going to get punished too much in lanes. Your offlane is not meant to get a lot out of his lane, so Bone 7 getting the bare minimum was enough for Cloud9.
So while we wait for the teams to get ready for Game 2 here, guys, do want to give you just a quick update. So if you don't want to be spoiled for the other series ongoing, cover your ears real quick. But Team Malaysia took Game 1 in the last best of 3, so they're looking good right now. They are currently playing against Tinker. That is over on twitch.tv/BeyondTheSummit, so be sure to check it out if you want to watch some action while we wait for Game 2. But yeah, we are currently looking for the players to join the lobby, get set. It looks like they are just now starting to return from break.
Oh man, that old China winner bracket final. That's going to be our last match of today.
Does it remind you of something? TI2 maybe?
Well, TI2 you had Na'Vi there. Well, winner bracket final. Yeah, winner bracket final was Na'Vi.
Okay.
But
collectively,
like the TI2 as a whole.
Yeah.
Collectively, Vici Gaming and IG are 8-0 in this tournament in games.
That's impressive. They're both playing really well. I actually have no idea who's going to win between the two of those. I feel like IG maybe is looking a bit stronger.
It's been up or down. Like 1 week you'll see IG is dominating, then LGD is playing a bit better. Vici, right now it seems like Vici has hit the strongest stride out of those 3 teams, I would say, but you go a week from now and I feel like it could change very easily.
What about the lower bracket?
I honestly feel like Team Malaysia is pretty scary for either of these teams, assuming they get through Tinker, which it looks like they're in pretty good position to do so.
I think Malaysia is looking absolutely like a really true dark horse for this tournament as far as actually having potential to go far through the lower bracket. They may have lost 2-0 to IG, but I could easily see them getting back into that top 3 with a win against Tinker and a win against the 2 teams playing here, Cloud9 and Alliance. I mean, Cloud9 I think has been the more impressive of the 2 as far as even in their loss, their 2-0 loss to Vici Gaming. I think they really showed a lot of promise there, and there may be a few things that just need some polishing up, even individual plays at certain times. But I think if Cloud9 get their form at the right time, which is going to be just surviving today, if they make it to the lower bracket final, I could see them making a run through the grand finals, and who knows, against the Chinese teams, I think they actually have one of the best shots of all the Western teams. Probably, at the moment, I think they have the best shot against the 2 Chinese teams.
Yeah, no EG here, of course, so when you take them out of the equation, then there's not many teams left that look super strong. There's Empire, who's had some good performances as well at past events, but could not qualify in the end for this land. So
Tinker's been okay. I mean, some of their matches have been off stage. We saw them on day 1 against Cloud9, but I think they're still in the tournament partly because of their bracket where they met London Conspiracy in their first round. As much as you can talk about Secret finishing bottom 2, I feel like if they had met London Conspiracy in the lower bracket round 1, well, they'd still be in the tournament right now.
now sometimes it just comes down to the matchup.
Yeah.
So with that said, how's our lobby looking? Do we have anyone in here yet? Just want to keep the... we're not in there apparently. But.
We got
everybody but us.
All right.
9 out of 10.
We got 9, so we're getting there.
All 22 spectators ready to go. We've upgraded. We've got more than 22 now.
The screen is overflowing. There's a couple of extra slots here in a few of the channels. You know, if anybody wants like a personal masseuse just to have access to draw on the map when they're not giving you the massage, that's an option, I guess. But
Come on in. We got 1 slot left in the BTS English cast here.
syndereN's been whining about how sore his back is, so you know. We might try to help him out. He has no idea what I'm saying.
Nothing like flaming people off camera when they're not paying attention.
Well, he was flaming me when I didn't have the headphones on. So
couldn't catch that one either.
So, do we think it's still going to be 2-0? I think that was. I think you both said 2-0.
No, I thought that Alliance would. Well, I thought Cloud9 was more likely to win, but I felt like Alliance was going to win that game based on the drafts at least. I think they could definitely come back. I think they had some really strong points there. They had some good ideas. I think the Diffusal Blade was smart, but they maybe should have gone more damage items on Troll maybe. That way they could burst faster. But I think they can possibly take it 2-1, but I think Cloud9 is more likely to win, especially because they have to win 2 games in a row now.
Any pocket picks or strategies that you could see them going for to force that game 3, David?
Sniper?
Or Ben.
It's not a pocket pick.
Yeah, but pocket picks. Alliance. Ooh.
We saw the CK Wisp a week or 2 ago.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what they may come up with. The Treant Protective can make it through. Not really a pocket pick either by this point. At this point for Alliance, but a hero they really like to go to.
It's actually been getting first phase banned pretty often.
Yeah, I really want to see some Pycat Queen of Pain. That to me is one of the more exciting heroes of his. But something that again is getting banned out. That was actually banned out in the first stage by Cloud9. So I guess they were like, look, we'll give away the Troll Sniper type heroes. Well, they knew they were going to get their hands on the Sniper. So assuming if things change here and Alliance's first pick, I imagine Alliance really want first pick just because of the way things are shaping up with how much control you have when you have first pick and how Sniper's 7-0. Like you can look at saying second pick has maybe got a slightly statistical advantage winning more games, but I mean, I don't think you look at stats when you're in these teams positions. You're looking at who has more control, who has more say over how the draft develops, and that's always going to be first
And you
pick.
just want that one hero that's like the most annoying hero to deal with out of the open pool.
For your opponents, I feel like they are forced to ban it, but we've seen 7 Sniper games, so apparently you're not forced to ban Sniper.
Well, I'm looking at what else they could pick. I'm really racking my brain here for Alliance. I feel like one of the things that has worked very well for this team, is, at least recently, is when Loda's on like a strong initiator. Like even though it's not really what he's known for historically over the past couple months, I feel like Centaur, we see the Starladder, Pycat's Axe has been hit or miss. Sometimes he's completely taken over games on that hero, but maybe they just want to take the fight to Cloud9 super early. We haven't really seen them do it, but it seemed like that was what worked particularly well in the last series for Vici Gaming.
Yeah, and it's what worked for Alliance against Secret, where they didn't let Secret just sit back, farm up both S4 and Arteezy. They pressured Arteezy in the lane, then they took a bunch of towers. I think the idea behind the Viper pick was that they wanted to do that once again, but Cloud9 said, look, you guys want to go try and pressure us? We're just going to go for a push strat. This is something that we have up in our arsenal. We may not go for this very often, but...
The Viper felt pretty underwhelming that game. Bristle was just running at him, tanking the ult, the poison attacks, and was hardly even taking damage.
The laning stage also went great for Bristleback. Bristleback had no problems last hitting in that lane. Actually was outlast hitting the Viper at one point. So from that point of view, yeah, the laning stage wasn't a problem, and Fata did what he needed to do. Other than that, I think we'll see probably... I think it's going to be a more standard... I mean, I think it still will be a standard game from Alliance. Probably not see the Viper pick again, which was... where things were maybe a bit different. They seem to be trying to just go back to the Viper because it's been working for Team Malaysia and something that worked against Secret. But now, after that roadblock in Game 1, I think it's going to be, let's go back to something more normal.
Uh-oh. Well, we are loading in here, but apparently Alliance only has 4 players, so I'm not sure.
Or Cloud9, one of them had 4 players.
I think it was Alliance.
In their chairs?
Oh, yeah, Alliance.
Yeah, one of them must have stepped out, but they do have 5 in the lobby, so.
I see.
Need stand-in. Who? Got any stand-ins around?
Anybody want to come up on stage, guys? Now's your opportunity.
I still come with me around, you know. There's some quality stand-ins present here in Bucharest. got some good Dota players lingering, but yeah, for now, I think Alliance going to go with what works for them. I think it's going to be like a Pycat, Queen of Pain, Sniper. I'm not a big fan of the Troll's good, but it just seems that most teams are getting better and better at dealing with it. Especially not a fan of the mid Troll, which Alliance seem to run a bit. The other hero which I think could be good for Pycat is a Shadow Fiend, which is just like a tried and true kind of mid laner for them. And then with these kind of more carry-oriented heroes, you can put Loda on the initiators, the Centaur type heroes for the safe lane. Or the Starladder you even mentioned earlier could be a good pick if they want to go for like a Starladder, Shadow Fiend, a lot of minus armor, mix all that in together.
And it does look like, I'm not sure if we're actually going to load here, but they're on the, are they Radiant?
Alliance or Radiant?
They're Radiant,
yeah.
Okay. So the Starladder may a bit less appealing at that point. But still a good initiator. We saw, I think, the Centaur Radiant side earlier today. How about Phantom Lancer? I'm still surprised we're not seeing any PL picks today.
I'm a little surprised too. I mean, I still think people figure it out a little bit, and it maybe has some lackings as a hero, but I mean, in early Diffusal Blade, we've seen a lot of Omni picks as well. I mean, you always buy Diffusal Blade on Omni Knight or on Phantom Lancer, so maybe that might be a better hero. The only downside to that is that people are always picking Omni last pick, so
yeah,
can't really
you can't really. But maybe if you haven't happened to not have picked your carry, then you can go for PL. But
he's pretty good against Sniper too, if you think about it, because
you
can get your charge. It guarantees that you run right in, and then from there, he's going to have to buy Mjolnir. Almost no snipers have been buying Mjolnirs lately, so maybe you could argue it's a worse item build that you'd force him into. And if you get the right items, you can jump on top and potentially blow him up. Maybe that's a solution, but even still, it's a little scary because if you do get out of that range of charge, Sniper is going to keep you at that max range and shrapnel you down and most likely kill you.
I feel like we're definitely going to see a PL by the end of the tournament. It's just a matter of when and who's picking it. VG Gaming have been running a lot. It actually got banned out against them in the second stage, so it could be something they look to pick at some point. But
and How is a really good win rate on the hero, I believe. It's like, was it 10? He's played it 10 games and he's... I can't remember. I remember seeing the stats.
Don't ask me these questions.
He's got a really good win rate on the hero.
Yeah.
Well, we're all loaded in, aside from 4 of our 22 observers.
We've been waiting for these 4 obs for a while. I don't think they're joining. I'm going to be honest here. I don't think they're coming. We may need to reload or just try and... It looks like they're going to try and get in anyways without them.
Just kick everyone. Hell, kick us. We'll cast from Dota TV.
Easy, easy. But yeah, so I think Cloud9 have been running it. I think Cloud9 run it more than Alliance do, even with Envy going through a period where he was playing it quite a lot. But
they have these like streaks where Envy, like there was like the Terrorblade phase where he just ran it every single game basically. Then the hero got nerfed.
So I think it's not a pick you can go into a draft planning on going. It always seems to be a reactionary pick. It's good against certain carries. And just seems to fit certain games where it's not going to get pressured too much in lane. So I don't think it's something you can really plan ahead of time to be picking.
All right, well, we actually have a draft. There haven't been any bans just yet, guys, but we're going to go ahead and hop on into it here in just a moment.
All right, well, we'll see what Alliance can concoct here. They've had a good start this morning, taking out Team Secret from Starladder Season 12, but they're now facing elimination here in Game 2.
Absolutely. It is going to be Cloud9 on the Dire side. They will have the first overall pick of the draft.
Again, so Cloud9 with first pick, it means they're probably not going to be banning up. They can just go for similar bans, I imagine. Queen of Pain Wisp is what they did in Game 1. Could theoretically leave the Wisp in the pool. It's not something Alliance... I mean, Alliance can pick it, absolutely, but it's not like a let's pick it all the time kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And the Beastmaster coming off the board again.
I'm sad again.
No Beastmaster.
Still want that hero.
Fata's probably still sad. This guy's...
He just don't tinker too hard. His first game in the tournament, everyone was watching. So
Roar is just one of the most fun abilities to watch. You're like, okay, that guy's about to die. You like see things coming. It's like a little bit of setup. It's beautiful. Sounds cool.
It's just badass. The way it like pushes everyone back. You're like Moses just like parting the Red Sea.
Oh, Cloud9
get the hell out of my way.
Man.
They ban it when they have first pick, I guess.
Well, there's the Wisp in the pool right now. That's got to be the big hero that Alliance is debating. Do we want to ban that? Do we want to ban Batrider? Zeus is also out there.
I don't think we'll see Batrider banned in the first phase.
Yeah.
I would lean toward the
Wisp. It was the Phoenix in Game 1 that was banned out here.
I feel like Phoenix is sometimes manageable. Obviously, if they have a good game, he can do a lot. But
especially first overall pick Phoenix. Sure, it could be a support, but you reveal that you're going for the hero so early.
Yeah, I think more likely you see a Wisp or a Zeus as one of your possible first picks coming out for Cloud9. Or the Troll Warlord, of course, if the Troll's not banned. That's something that Cloud9 still prioritize quite heavily when it's in the pool.
All right, so Wisp it is.
All right, do they want the Zeus, the Phoenix, or are we going to see something else
troll
here from Cloud9? Or the Troll, yeah, that's true. We saw the Troll mag earlier today from, I believe it was from Cloud9.
Yeah.
Or Vici Gaming ran it as well. Is that correct? I think so.
Yeah, Vici Gaming did too. Cloud9, Troll's great, but it does kind of reveal right away what their safe lane farmer is going to be. Now, in fact, it can play it in the mid lane, but I think more likely you see Envy on it for a safe lane hero. But yeah, they'll grab the Troll.
All right. How do Alliance counter this? How do they control it?
Treant,
We've seen the tree.
Yeah, I think Treant's one of the better options.
Tree, Axe, Batrider, probably the 3 big BKB piercing disables out there.
Do you think it's worth drafting those heroes just for the BKB pierce, though?
Well, I mean, they bring other stuff to the table.
I like the armor's pretty good at reducing his damage because he doesn't have DOT really, but
it also helps you just keep your towers alive a bit longer. His Troll does split push quite well.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like based on what Alliance likes the most, the tree is probably the hero they would be most likely to turn to.
Yeah.
And it can go extremely late. You get that Ags and oh baby. Yeah. Forget about the 90-minute game. We could be in for a much longer one.
I think the Axe you mentioned is also really good just because when you blink Cold the Troll, you're not worried about the physical damage you're taking. You can set up for a teammate to dump a lot of damage onto a Troll, be it like a Lion Finger, a Skyreth Mystic Flare.
Yeah. I think if they want to go that route, the Axe Lion sounds really strong for Alliance.
The other hero we haven't seen that recently from Alliance. Oh, okay.
Wow. All right, they're going to change it up here. Alliance wants to do something different. They're throwing a totally unexpected opening at Cloud9. Great gang. Now, I guess the big question mark is there any chance that we see Alliance try to do that off-lane Bane, or is this just definitely going to be support Bane? It is one of Mad's classic support heroes, dating back to the old Sigma days. So
they picked them together, so it's like, hey, we're going to sleep arrow you, just fair warning right at the start. It's a very common support roaming combo. The only downside is that if the ganks don't quite go perfect, then you're going to be under-leveled. And Bane definitely needs the levels, and Mirana loves them as well.
I think Bane's definitely a support, to go back to Ellie's question. I don't know if Mirana's going to be like necessarily the support duo, though. I've seen Pykett's played quite a bit of the Mirana as well for Alliance, so I think the Mirana is flexible, but the Bane, I don't see this being anything other than a support.
I think Mad's probably played 100% of the Bane picks on all his teams, so it would be surprising if it's not. But we enter the second ban stage now, both teams with pretty wide open drafts. I think more so with Alliance as far as what overall strategy they want, but Cloud9 going to ban out the tree now, so a good hero versus the Troll. They don't want too much crowd control to deal with him. Look at C9, most likely, or almost certainly, we're going to see the Fada Zeus, probably the Eternal Envy Troll, so this leaves them needing 2 supports and a Bone 7 hero. So, well, one hero that can fill both roles is the Phoenix, which we will see Alliance remove right now.
Yeah, as much as the Viper was an amazing pick in the first game, it is pretty good against Zeus as far as mid lane matchup goes, and against Troll later on with Viper Strike just being really pesky for Troll to deal with. Yeah, they'll ban out the Viper. I think Viper was not the best pick in game 1 and was a bit of a problem for them, but this game it just like, I see Troll Zeus, I'm like, you kind of want a Viper this time.
Are you on the telephone with them or something? You got a little direct line here with Eternal Envy. It was just funny. You're like, Viper's not a bad pick here. Bam.
It was funny because he talked about it. It's like, yeah, Viper wasn't. We didn't really think it was a good hero, but this time around, I'm like, yeah, let's get some Viper coming into play.
There's the Magnus ban.
Yeah.
You don't know the Zeus is going mid necessarily. Bone 7 can play a Magnus, but also we've seen No Tail play a support Zeus. So.
That is true.
And Magnus Troll is just too good. You farm really rapidly, and even in the mid-game team fights, a lot of damage comes from it. And the disable as well, like Bane is a hero that's pretty stationary, so being able to RP on top of him is very simple, or even do skewers, so it would be a multi-layered problem.
All right, well, if it is going to be a mid-Zeus, I think Earthshake is a good support that Cloud9 could look to use defensively to protect some of their lanes. And
okay.
The good old Dro Ranger.
All right, well, this is where things get a little dicey for Cloud9. Got to be worried about this heavy pressure.
And this is where Mirana can really become a much better solo mid hero or an offlane hero because you've got the bonus damage. Something where Mirana really struggles is last hitting in lane, so Dro just makes heroes like Mirana, Invoker, Puck so much more dominant in their solo lanes when you have the precision aura on your side.
Well, C9, they got to expect a lot of early push, a lot of early pressure. They do not have much D push. They had the Zeus decent for trying to draw the creep aggro, but that's really it so far. Not too much team fight either. The Batrider is out there if they want a Bone 7 hero. If they do want to run this as a Fada Zeus, but they could look, as you mentioned, to put the Zeus off lane, in which case, what would the Fada hero be instead? We've seen the Bristleback a few times the past 2 days. Not sure if that's really the hero you want against. Triple range with the Drow. It feels like Alliance have too many ways to control it.
I think they want the Zeus mid and want to get a really strong support duo to be able to contest the early game. So they get Chen to start things off. I think ganking and just early game presence from their supports is going to be quite important this game.
Chen's really good against Mirana as well, especially if you're pushing and you're looking to set up an arrow. You usually have a wave of creeps in the way, so it's one of the heroes that really does lower Mirana's win rate.
The old school way to deal with the Bane Mirana is just to get an Abaddon and just aphotic shield whoever gets hit by the arrow.
Yep, that works. Or Shadow Demon works as well, but I don't know if they really need to do that. It's too much, maybe too much countering the Mirana, and Mirana's not just going to be about the arrow now because of the Drow, like you said. Her damage is going to be way higher. She has one of the better agility gains in the game, and she'll usually buy just typical stat items, Manta style, stuff like that. And she will actually be a big threat, especially against Troll in the mid to late game, especially as she gets really late. If this game goes on for 60 minutes, Mirana actually becomes the top tier ranged carry in a lot of ways because she has so much mobility and her range is so high. Her projectile speed is still terrible, but if Troll ever jumps on Mirana, all she does is leap away and usually can escape.
This is a smart pick. This Brood, because I'm looking at lines like this draft is scary. They're going to go for this just 5-man death ball push like they did back, I think it was game 1 against Secret early today when they didn't have the Drow Ranger. They had the Dazzle though, and just had all the Dazzle, Phoenix, and just all these heals coming into play. This time around though, Brood is a great hero to kind of deter those 5-man pushes and also just cause these heroes problems in the laning stage.
Yeah, I think if you're Alliance now, you do need that off-lane utility initiator type axes out there, and that's probably the main hero Cloud9 looks to ban.
Yeah.
I feel like
Centaur's the other big possibility. Goes really well with Drow just to help give her the repositioning. Between that and Moonlight Shadow, it can be difficult to track the Drow down, but doesn't match up quite as well in the laning stage versus the Brood.
I think they're okay versus Brood in the lane, though, honestly. I mean, you can even buy Poor Man's Shield sometimes on ranged heroes versus the Spiders. It works okay because it still blocks 10 damage. The Spiders hit for a little bit more than 10 each, so like, as long as Drow gets a slight level advantage or they kill Broodmother once or twice, I think they'll be okay down there, and they can still get that gold advantage from those kills and translate it to a push. But that lane is going to be really important. If Brood can get a lot of levels, it's going to be pretty scary for him.
Yeah, so Alliance, yeah, I feel like there's 2 big options. They can aggro trialing with the Bane, Dazzle Drow, or even put the Drow mid and do Bane, Mirana, Dazzle aggro trial and get a hero that matches up well against the Brood 1v1, which with the Legion ban is probably just an Axe. And yeah, they'll get the Axe. So I think they want to go aggro trialing and have a 1v1 with Axe versus Brood, but even if they want to tri-lane versus the Brood, I think that also works, where you've got Bane to set up with the Nightmare, you've got pretty good supports with Sentry Wards who can zone out the Brood and just do what we saw earlier today with Cloud9 dealing with the Brood, where you just be active with Sentries, Dusts, and pressure the Brood and go for kills constantly.
What do Cloud9 want here? What is that, most likely that second support going to be? They've got the Big Daddy Chance. This will be the Misery hero. His line was just banned out.
They're lacking on disables.
Witch Doctor seems decent, gives him some more damage, and the cast seems pretty handy, but
be okay, I think. Maledict is not amazing versus Dazzle. It's pretty good though. It's pretty good because it doesn't stop, like Maledict will kill Grave, but the heals will counteract it a bit. They could do some kind of like cheesy Broodmother. Oh no, the Dazzle's on the other team. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the heal bombs are fun, but not
or you could go for like a standard like Venge, but I think they want something with a
Well, you mentioned the Shadow Demon earlier.
It's an option here. It really is.
It's pretty good against Axe Call. He goes for the call, you just put your ally under.
Or him. If
yeah,
he
or
gets
him.
A lot. It's not terrible. It's the only problem with SD here is he's much better against melee carries. Like range carries, he's not so good because your ultimate is essentially a stun against melee carries because they can't move.
Right.
Against range, it's not very good. I think SD's not the good support pick here. It can save your allies, but it's not.
I mean, I think this is where C9 really wanted that line. I love that ban from Alliance. It's like they don't have any stuns right now aside from whatever Chen creeps and if you get a lucky bash.
Lightning Bolt.
That's sort of Well, they have the mini stun. That's true. All right, they're going to go Disruptor here.
Okay.
Can be good to catch the Mirana when she's trying to retreat and potentially to punish this Drow Ranger, but it's a lineup with 0 reliable disables.
I like what Alliance have done with this draft. This is looking like a strong kind of comfort zone draft in a weird way, despite the unconventional opening with the Bane Mirana and something which can look to punish Cloud9. The one big X factor here is going to be the Brood and whether or not Alliance can deal with the Brood and how Bone 7 can play it in the offlane. Not a hero you see him on that often, but something that is picked every now and then, with kind of mixed results, I feel.
All right, well, as we get ready to hop into the game, Gods, you said it was going to be Cloud9 taking the series. Do you think we go to a game 3 now? Sounds like you do like the Alliance draft.
I like the Alliance draft. I'm going to stick to Cloud9 2-0. I mean, I don't want to go against my previous prediction.
All right, so a man of your own word, at least.
Yeah.
Purge, do you agree?
I think the Alliance draft looks good to me, but I'm a little worried about some of their lanes. I feel like if X doesn't do well, it's going to be tough.
All right, well, with that said, let's see what Zyori as well as syndereN have to say. Guys, take it away.
All right, game number 2 here, syndereN. This is what it's all about. Alliance, 1 loss away from elimination. They absolutely need a victory here to take us to an ace match and have a chance at survival. Thoughts about the draft overall, sir?
I really like how Alliance just pull out something completely new. When they're on the brink of elimination, like you said, they have to win. They choose a Mirana Bane opener, which we haven't seen for a very long time. Reminiscent for me of Sigma International that used to play that quite a lot, also with Mad as the drafter, I believe, for that team. So
when I think of Mad, one of the first heroes that comes to mind is the Bane Elemental.
Yeah.
I mean, there was that period on Sigma where it was just, if you let that in the pool, you were going to suffer some sad nightmares.
I like Alliance's draft more here. I think their laning stage is going to go fairly easily for them. All right, Loda is actually looking to maybe get involved in a fight here. I believe Fata will just get this rune and get away. The question is this arrow? No, not even close. Okay. So, biggest surprise for me in the entirety of this draft was Cloud9 not banning out Axe after they picked Brood for the last ban. They banned Legion Commander, which, yes, does well against Brood, but I think Axe is generally a stronger lane counter and a stronger hero in general in the games. A little bit surprised that's what they went for.
Definitely agreed there. Arrow connects onto Fata, set up from Mad. Could this be your first blood? They've got the damage for it. Mad gets it, and Fata ends up in the grave earlier than expected.
This is a really good start for Alliance. And so Nikwa will not be laning against the Brood, at least from the start. The Axe will be playing in the offlane against Troll, which is also pretty okay for Axe. If Troll harasses him from range, he gets counter helix procs, and then he gets some farm. If Troll tries to fight him melee, he loses generally. So this is a decent matchup for Nikwa. They might have expected that the Brood would be top because Cloud9 would try to dodge getting Brood against Axe. And we do see the response here. Nikwa is just going to show on bottom. He poured it down here. They're going to swap lanes. Pycat will be heading out momentarily. And
okay.
I don't know. I feel like this lane is actually unwinnable for Brood. There's a couple of matchups where Brood is the underdog, but can win if you play it super well. In my opinion, Axe has to play terribly to lose this lane. Like, you really have to mess up.
Very tricky. And looking at the other lanes, mid, it's Loda on the Drow Ranger. Ake has just been lingering a buy on this Shadow Priest. He went Shadow Wave level 1, so no grave. It will find level 2 rather timely. Fata should be able to recover from that early death, not slowing him down too much, as the dubious duo here, Bane and Mirana, make it to the top lane where they'll have 2 heroes waiting. And of course, Chen is in the dire jungle. We saw Big Daddy spend a lot of time farming last game with stacks and Wild Wings. Mad, maybe in some trouble here. Kinetic Field comes out.
There's no mana.
Yeah.
Misery.
Tomato rotating over, has the Thunderclap, but can't close the gap.
And whenever you play Bane Mirana, the ideal situation for you is that either you roam together as a duo or you play against a solo lane. Then Nightmare into Arrow is a kill every time, but it's not that easy to kill the Troll in this lane. He has the backup of Disruptor who can take away the Nightmare when the Arrow is about to come in. I think that's what Cloud9 wanted to do on the first blood when Zeus got Nightmare, but they just mistimed it completely and he took the Arrow in the end. And even the Chen can come in and help out. Just have a creep next to Envy and you can just take off the Nightmare with that every time.
Or you can intercept the Arrow as well.
Yeah, that's another way of doing it. So it's pretty.
Options there.
They have a couple of plays available to them here, and as far as Alliance goes, they got the first blood, which is good. They're doing very well on X. The question is if their carries are getting the farm they need. Whenever you play a Drow lineup, I feel like Drow's the hero that make the entire lineup come together because of the aura. So you want Loda to get some good farms. He can start getting level 6. He can get some more agility, and the entirety, like all of their heroes get stronger apart from Axe.
Right.
How much are they getting in this mid lane? They started out with a dual lane, and Fata is still out farming the Drow. So not really accomplishing as much there as they would hope, and maybe that's going to prompt a rotation from Mad at some point. I'm afraid for Alliance that's going to be a little bit too obvious, though.
Yeah, I mean, Ake can't linger around the mid the entire game. Needs to get a little lane control back for Nikwa, and needs to get some farm for himself. Dao's one of those supports that definitely needs that early experience, and leeching in the mid lane is not an easy way to find that. Also, don't really want to take that XP away from Loda Nico putting a lot of pressure on the Brood down bottom. By far the last hit leader, as you were talking about. No big surprise there, but at this rate, Axe should have a very well-timed Blink Dagger.
He's 28-5 against 5-0. Granted, Brood was against a dual lane, but that was for like the first minute.
Yeah.
And now it's just a 1-on-1. This is one of the most one-sided lanes in Dota, in my opinion, apart from if you take something like an OD versus a melee hero with no mana pool or something like that. You're just completely screwed. But Axe versus Brood, one of the most heavily Axe-favored matchups you can get in lane. Classic counterpick, and going back to the draft, as I said, surprising that Cloud9 gave it away.
Mid lane, Loda in some trouble. Kinetic Field, Thunder Strike, more than enough damage as Fata zaps him down. It's Misery that gets credit for the kill, and Loda will get that first-class ticket back to the well.
Fata will be
another fight that breaks out. PyCat hasted up, has an arrow in 1 second. Misery will take the Nightmare off. Now the arrow connects. They actually have the damage to find the kill on the Disruptor, though. PyCat has a leap, still hasted. Bane goes down, compliments of the Lightning, and leap to the high ground. We'll make it a 1-for-1 as they trade supports. Well, 1-for-2 if you count the Drow in that.
Yeah, Mirana didn't have the arrow ready when they Nightmared. PyCat needed another 3 seconds. Fortunately for Alliance, they chose to juggle the Nightmare. Also, the arrow might have missed entirely, and they did get 1 target, but of course, they were looking for the Zeus. They end up getting the Disruptor. It's still pretty good.
And all the while down bottom, the push commences from Alliance. Ake will find the last hit as Nikwa zones out the Broodmother, and Misery as he rotates down. So still okay for Alliance. Tro falling is never good news, but Nikwa's farm continues to impress. Already has the Tranquil Boots up, and as we were talking about, making great headway towards the prized Blink Dagger.
Yeah,
I feel like PyCat's farm is a little lackluster here, Sind. Only 11-2 in raw CS.
It's very important for him that he has the Drow Aura. One of Mirana's biggest weaknesses when it comes to being played in the carry role is she has very bad base damage. And you can compensate for that with the Drow Aura, but she's still going to be about 20 damage short of the Troll Warlord if he plays it in melee form. And of course, he's also playing against the threat of Chen rotating or Disruptor coming in as a great hero at ganking Mirana with the Glimpse. So it's not the easiest of lane here from PyCat, but I think Alliance's game plan here with just getting a fast blink on Axe, they're probably just going to rotate lanes later and use the Axe as a ganking tool then, as Chen just going to take the Nightmare off with a creep.
Yeah,
probably
maybe in some
fine.
trouble, but not really the ideal target for Alliance to go for. Arrow will be off the mark. They still get the kill there, but now Envy coming around the backside. Whirling Axe is on 3. Ake barely gets off the shallow grave. Buys him some time. Shadow Wave just not enough. PyCat goes down. Lightning from Zeus to soften him up even more. Mad falls. Glimpse back onto the Dazzle. He'll fall as well. It's Cloud9 coming out big in the top lane.
The moment they've used all their abilities on the first kill, Troll is actually immortal there. They can't bring him down. He uses Whirling Axes. Even though it's only level 1, it's a 4-second blind. He has more than enough armor and damage there to just fight them head on. Zeus ult obviously helps out nicely as well. And it becomes a really good trade. Chen did go down because of the Brain Sap, but yeah, that arrow was really close.
That one. Ooh, shaving the whiskers off that Zeus beard. Bone 7 getting a little more space in the bottom lane, though, all the while. Nikwa will come down to reinitiate here, but at least Bone 7 has his Soul Ring, so now can spam out these Spiderlings and found his level 6. Things getting just a little bit better for him. He hasn't died at all, which is something.
Yes.
Not a lot, but it's something.
That's the least he can do in a lane against Axe. Unfortunately for him, it's kind of what the situation you're stuck with, but now he's reaching level 7, and this is when Brood can start transitioning into the jungle very effectively, farm the jungle instead of the lane, and then Axe is going to farm lane creeps, and Brood's going to farm the jungle. But Nikwa won't let him. He's going to go farm his own jungle instead, and then Bone 7 will resort to cutting the wave here behind the tier 1. It's a very risk-free play for Broodmother in particular, because you don't need to use the hero for it, you just use the spiders. But still, he has to be worried that a rotation from Alliance could come at any point in time, and if they start covering their own jungle with some detection, he actually can't even go there either, and then he's in a lot of trouble. Has to know that Nikwa's Blink is coming right up as well with the amount of farm he has.
Big Daddy, level 5, not really farming that quickly though. At this rate, not looking like he'll have a mech in a super fast timing, closing in on that headrest, but staying quiet for now. He went for this level 1 penance again here, syndereN. We saw it before, we questioned it, and I guess that means it certainly wasn't a misclick as we were hypothesizing.
Oh, I don't even remember seeing him cast it in the first game.
Nor I, but...
Maybe a few times, but very little. What could this be for? Does it work on Rush?
Might break the Lincoln's effect. I don't know if it actually slows.
Well, if it
Roche.
breaks it, then it works. Then he can get the...
I want to say yes. I'm pretty sure
if it's a 14% damage amp on Roshan, that's actually kind of nice. I mean, it's...
Yeah, but how soon are they going to be taking Roshan? Do you really need to skill it pre-level 6? That's the other question. Nikwa getting a little aggressive here, gets glimpsed back to basically where he was. And well, that'll be the end of that. So maybe it's for Roche.
That's what I'm thinking if it works, because he hasn't really been ganking that much with it, I think, but maybe he's done some math here. The main reason I think you don't get Penitence is that it costs 100 mana, and that means you don't have mana for something else. Like if you look at the entirety of Chen's abilities, he actually can't cast every ability once. So it's or he can. Wait, let me see. 375. It's 575 if he casts every ability once, excluding sending someone back with Test of Faith. So he doesn't have the mana pool for it at all.
Yeah.
So it's a very situational pickup, getting the Penitence, and if you do cast it, then maybe that's instead of your mech, and that's really not the problem you want to have.
Yeah, that's
but maybe we can see it in use in this game. Let's try to keep an eye out for the Penitence. My theory is still Roshan. It's got to be.
Well, a keen eye we shall keep. Mid lane still just farming away. Pycat has rotated to try and find a baseline of farm. We mentioned he was a little lackluster on that front. Now the smoke gets reeled from Alliance. They jump onto Fata. They set up for an easy arrow, and the slam dunk finds a kill.
This is not the best of trades, though. There's a ping in the Roche pit coming out from Loda. They realize something's up. They realize it too late.
Big Daddy did not use it on the Roche.
Nope.
So that's crossed that one off the list. We're running low on possibilities here. Alliance, what do they want to do here, though? They see Roche has gone down. Troll Warlord the one to pick up the Aegis. It's a Moonlight Shadow. The jig is up for Big Daddy as he gets caught by a Berserker's Call. The dunk is there despite the kinetic field, and Axe will get a kill out of it. So Roche goes the way of Cloud9, but they do concede 2 deaths and a couple of Chen creeps in exchange.
Still, I think Cloud9 are pretty happy with getting the Aegis here for Eternal Envy. He will be farming up pretty fast. The big farm leader still acts by quite a few hundred down to the 2nd place, but then the next 3 are all Cloud9. And considering how Brood got run over in lane, it's similar to what we saw in the game with Vici Gaming versus Cloud9, where Brood actually died like 5 times in lane and still kept up a nice net worth. And
well, now Bone7 has a hand of Midas, so
he's going to be doing
begins.
fine. They also claim the bottom tier 1 tower. It is going to be denied here by Ake, but important map control to gain for Cloud9. Getting access into the Radiant jungle is a key component in making Brood as useful as possible.
Yeah, both Pycat and Loda kind of struggling to really come online here. You see this build on Drow Ranger, usually when she's a bit behind, power treads into triple Wraithband, getting every little bit of agility he can to give more damage to his team. And you look at Pycat's inventory, pretty sparse. Singleton Wraithband for him and just Phase Boots Bottle. Bane farming about on point with these Archer cores for Alliance, which is usually not a great sign.
No, the laning stage for Alliance did not go as they hoped, apart from the Axe, who did great. He's going to jump mid.
On to Musari. They'll cut off his head and hang it on the wall.
And Nico's doing great in this game. He's 3-0, and 86 CS minute 11 is definitely very good on the Axe. So he's getting the job done. But like you said, the farm is still lacking for Alliance. And you've got to worry for them when Bone7 starts taking over their jungle, right? How much farm can they actually get? They can get the lane farm, they can get their Ancients, and then that's kind of it. They can't really invade the Dire jungle when Troll has an Aegis and they're invading into Zeus. It's very difficult. As they try to put some pressure here, will not claim the tower. Misery. Thinking about the glimpse, that's a short one.
Less than ideal for sure. Dazzle does find level 6, though. We've talked about the weave as one of the reasons why Dazzle is picked up now a bit more than he was. So we're seeing teams really group up and utilize the power of that ultimate. Nikwa looks like a Blade Mail will be on the horizon for him on the Axe. Fairly tried and true item, though. Not something you see every game. Thoughts about it here?
It's really good against Zeus and Disruptor. Not so much against the Axe and Brood, against the Troll and Brood. It can be okay against Troll on occasion, I guess. If he starts taking a fist fight, you just pop the Blade Mail and he has to like make a decision.
Right.
But it's very, very nice against Zeus. And Disruptor, if you get caught in the kinetic field, you pop your, in the storm, you can actually maybe kill off the Disruptor by Blade Mailing inside the static storm. That's pretty nice. So
yeah, certainly.
It's pretty okay here. The thing is, his next item might be a BKB because he has to be able to reliably engage into the Dire side. And then if he uses BKB together with Blade Mail, he's not really reflecting onto the Zeus and Disruptor anymore because they're not damaging him. But
true. It's
like a nice build-up where for a 5 to 10 minute period, this Blade Mail can actually be really useful and he needs to get value out of it. And then if you want to look at it that way, it's an 1,100 gold investment, right? He can sell it again for half and then get another item later on if he wants.
Mid lane, Mad could find himself in a sticky situation. Fata comes in to initiate, and the follow-up from Misery is there, but Mad will wander away, glimpse back into the Static Storm. Pycats here with the double damage. That'll repel these heroes. They'll actually keep their Bane alive. Arrow flies through, will be off the mark. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Loda trying to defend this push, but Envy and Big Daddy, they're going to claim 2 towers off this. They've got a great spread of creeps, and the tower will go down. Yeah, nicely denied by the Dro Ranger, but
that was so expensive for Alliance. They try to go for the gank. It actually doesn't work. They use Fiend Script. It gets immediately cancelled by, I think, the Static Storm from Misery. Yeah. They lose the top tier 2 tower. Bone 7 is pushing the bottom tier 2 tower. I think they actually even smoked for that gank? Or did they? Maybe they just rotated or used Moonlight Shadow. Nah, that's a while ago they used that. So I didn't see.
It was not a
which
Moonlight
way they
Shadow. I think they just rotated.
They might have just rotated for it, but unsuccessful. They lost a lot of map control, a lot of gold on that. And you can tell, like if you look at the Radiant's vision, how starved they are on vision. They do plant 1 ward in their own jungle, but apart from that, they're really playing in the dark as far as their own half goes, and that's the Brood dream. That's exactly what he wants.
I was just going to point out how well this Brood is farming. You look at that net worth chart, and he is on the up and up, nipping at the heels of that Axe, who has been the leading farmer this entire game. And this is part of the power of that Brood Mother. We brought it up time and time again. The power of this hero to make space, either by feeding, hiding in the trees, and then recovering through a Hand of Midas and just clearing out the jungle. Nikwa will find him here, tries to finish him off, but just doesn't have the damage, and Bone 7 will happily TP home. Nice heads-up play, no way to stop it, and he'll live.
It's actually very impressive that Bone 7 has overtaken Envy in net worth. He does have the Midas going his way, but even considering that, he had a very hard lane in the start. And he's going to itemize. This is a build that we've seen a lot coming out from XII. It's great. I want to call it a jungle domination build, because it disallows supports from actually getting into their own jungle again and trying to control. And as far as fights go, you're very mobile. It's very easy to find angles, especially when your Dagon levels up. You can easily find angles to cast it, and a surprise burst out of nowhere can be really useful, as Fata does claim Ake.
My boy Ak.
My boy Ak.
Uh-oh, glimpse back onto Pycat, leap out. He'll be all right.
Tower for
now
sure.
This tier 1 tower.
Just kidding, maybe not. I don't even know. All right, it's not a tower. They were thinking about it, but they did decide to pull back here.
I think they're still thinking about it, lingering around a bit longer. They'll lose their tomato. Well, that doesn't mean they can't commence the push. The Wild Wing, he'll go into the dance party and get that tornado onto the field to try and zone out some of Alliance. Hoping to maybe find the Axe and break his Blink Dagger, which he will do successfully. Though the tower's still standing. Glyph on cooldown. How did Cloud9 want to do this? Ooh.
Oh, that was flying out for Fata.
I think that's a point booster.
That was a point booster. He's not going to be happy with that. That's the build-up for his Bloodstone. He went for a Blink first, which I think is... it's pretty unusual for Fata. He likes getting the Bloodstone first, but in this game, the mobility has been proving useful against the Mirana Arrow, against Axe, looking for initiation, so it has been nice, but...
Yeah, Alliance will get that tier 1 tower mid.
It's a nice little pick-me-up for Nikwa there. Puts his ultimate on cooldown, but well worth it. Get like 900 gold and denying the 1200 for Zeus for a while. Bottom tower will go down though. You know, 1 tier 2 and 1 tier 1 remaining, both in the mid lane. Classic situation against Brood. Seems like the side lane towers go down because either you try to defend bottom against Brood and it opens up top, or you're somewhere else and Brood takes bottom. But mid lane is still looking okay for Alliance. That
I still think the big problem is this Mirana. She's supposed to be their big, beefy core, and you look at her net worth compared to someone like Chen, and they're strikingly even. Only Drum of Endurance and Phase Boots as core items on Pycat. Still not finding much space to farm.
This is a hero that really does not play well from behind. Like, you can land a great arrow, which, you know, can be a game changer, but that's like the only thing you can do. There's a lot of carries that when played from behind can actually still do a lot of damage. Mirana sucks without farm, let's be honest, when it comes to damage output.
Let's just be bold about it. She's awful. Okay.
She doesn't really have anything that scales. Like, it's good that they have the Drow, because if they didn't have the Drow, Pycat would be farming a lot slower. He would have even less impact when it comes to, say, in 5 to 10 minutes. The Drow can be the saving grace for the Mirana, but it's really not a good hero without farm in a core position.
Arrow almost hits Misery there in the Radiant jungle. Loda has been able to pick up a Yasha, also got his level 11, so now Marksmanship giving that aura even more damage from around the map. Up to 52. Glancing at the net worth chart here, Cloud9 up by about 5K golden experience. Pretty good margin for 18 minutes in. Taking control of this game so far. Envy, he's getting there, working on probably a Sanj and Yasha.
He's just going to use the ultimate to push out this siege creep, rotating into his own jungle. Might be a little bit nervous about getting ganked right now. They don't have that much information apart from the fact that, well, they're not in the Radiant jungle because Brood is scouting that out constantly. So they, whenever they see that the jungle is clear, they're going to be nervous for the side lanes. And Envy just playing passively here is perfectly fine. Cloud9 know, they have to know that they're winning every single minute like this. And
oh, absolutely. I mean, this is what Brood loves to do. He's got a Dagon and hasn't found any kills yet. Still 0, 0, and 0, but it's not a cause for concern because they're just farming so much more effectively.
And this is very comparable to how Secret were playing with Brood at DAC, where they would pick it together with, for example, they would play the Chen from Puppey together with a Shadow Fiend of Arteezy just farming. This time it's kind of the same recipe, but it's a Troll Warlord farming for Eternal Envy, but the Brood is still doing the same thing, the same build, the same aggression, trying to just cover the map. And
I don't think I'll ever forget that elimination match from DAC with the Zai Broodmother going Dagon Rush. That was a tough game for Envy fans around the world.
It's so difficult when this Dagon starts getting leveled up. He can actually like one-shot it. Look at Ake's health. Like that's just food. Right there. He actually dies to spawn Spiderlings in a Dagon level 3, I think. So he won't even get time to react. Mad, health pool 900, kind of the same story as they will claim the top tier 1. So Alliance making a little bit of progress.
It'll cost him though. Tier 1 mid falls and tier 2 bottom goes on down also. Is that one? No, that was already dead, I guess, wasn't it?
Yeah, they only got the mid tier 1 there.
Still running out of access points here. Only one outer tower remaining for Alliance, that tier 2 in the mid lane. And that just furthers Brood's ability to control this jungle. There are no neutrals to be found. Even Envy joining in the invasion party here.
Cloud9 are just being way more efficient around the map. I think it's also easier for them with their draft. Alliance's draft, the reason I really liked it was that I was imagining Axe would destroy Brood in lane. Check. They did that. And then the Bane Mirana looking for kills early on, and they have a decent combination. Like in any lane, they have a pretty good shot at it, but they just weren't able to really find the kills. And the Drow Aura, which was supposed to win them their dual lane off lane, didn't really beat Eternal Envy. So the entirety of the game plan just kind of didn't work. And now they're stuck in a situation where their draft really wants to be ahead. They're really far behind. They have very limited map control, no real way of contesting Roshan's, for example. Their team fight is not that easy to set up in the pit. They have Blink Call, which is great, but apart from that, it's not really that easy for them to get in on this dire lineup. Yeah,
and as we've talked about, playing from behind is an issue for Alliance. They just don't have this great team fight team. If Nikwa can't find the initiation with the Berserker's Call or a stray arrow that nails somebody in the face, their ability to take a straight-up 5v5 team fight becomes a lot more difficult. Cloud9, hot off the Roshan. Aegis of the Immortal in the inventory of the Troll. No big surprise there, but Envy is still just farming like a madman. As he goes up to the top lane with his Alpha Wolf behind. Here we go, initiation. The Moonlight Shadow gets revealed as they bring down Big Daddy. Static Storm comes out to try and break it up a little bit. Alliance only get a singleton pick-off there.
I think this is the first time ever in competitive Dota that that's the first main item of a Bane. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Not the Soul Ring, that one.
Oh.
That is very unusual. The nice thing is you can cast it while you're using Fiend's Grip, I believe, so you actually disappear, similar to Witch Doctor Death Ward. So it is kind of nice, but it's, in pro-level play, it's very easily counterable. Like a Gem or a Sentry Ward can easily get the job done, and you're doing it against a Zeus, not to forget.
Well, Nikwa now initiates on 2, but there's some follow-up damage. Misery will go down, gets chopped. Fiend's Grip out onto Fata. Envy getting low. Remember, he has the Aegis. Fata, can he live? The mech keeps him alive a little bit longer, but still can't survive the onslaught. Mad in the front lines, caught inside of the kinetic field, but the Shadow Blade will keep him safe. The Berserker's Call from Nikwa catches 3. Alliance finally finding a fight that they needed. Envy will be isolated by the Nightmare. All of his friends are getting picked apart. Freddy Krueger tearing through his dreams as he tries to man up onto Loda. Shallow Grave comes out, and Envy will fall. That's the Aegis of the Immortal. Can they kill him again? The wolf finishes him off. Envy comes back to life. Pycat on the run. Whirling axes. Oh, just falls short. But
that's about as good a fight as Alliance could have hoped for.
Less than ideal.
Still, that was a really good fight for Alliance. Like, they fought into an Aegis. They got 2 3-man calls out from Nikwa, really setting up the fight perfectly for them.
Now, 2 buybacks were used in that fight. 1 on the Axe as well as 1 on the Disruptor to make that happen. Yeah. So at the end, it is a very minor gain for Alliance, but not by much.
But it's a gain. And that's the first time that's happened in 10 minutes, I think. So it's a step in the right direction. They still need to find a lot more farm. But that was a really, really nice jump they got there. And I don't know how much value they got out of the Bane Shadow Blade, but there's two aspects to it I want to finish off on. So the first one, of course, we did mention he can cast it while ulting and disappear from the fight. If there's no detection, that's really good. The other one is his ability to move around on the map and set up the gank in the first place, which is very nice when it comes to roaming supports. A lot of them benefit from the Shadow Blade. It's the reason you see it saw it as a core build on, for example, Dragon Knight to set up the easy stun when you ganked. Also, let me think, what's another hero that sometimes... Eternal Envy sometimes gets it on his Tiny for the same reason, I believe. Has done that in the past. And there's a couple of other heroes that really benefit from this for the ganking. So I can definitely see it being a cool pickup on Bane. I just don't know if it's the right choice.
For a very similar reason. You talked about
true.
That Blink
they
BKB
got it on Centaur
reaction
as well. Now, the thing is, he got this over 3/4 of a BKB. And that actually would guarantee a Fiend script. There is no counter to a BKB grip, apart from if he gets bashed by Troll, which... He's probably the grip target in the first place.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
I'm still not sure how much I like it. I think it's a cool idea, but it could end up really backfiring if Zeus isn't controlled. Matt can just get bolted or spotted by Zeus ult, and they can just counter him with like a simple glimpse.
And Fata's farm is nothing to scoff at. We talked in the last game about Aghanim Scepter versus Refresher, and here Fata will go for the ladder with Oblivion Staff already in the inventory. Bloodstone down to 5 charges, so a little bit less than ideal there, but still finding decent farm. Bone 7 now up to level 3 Dagon and Boots of Travel. So he's a lot more mobile. Oh, there's a dire Sentry Ward. It reveals the Moonlight Shadow. Alliance in a little bit of trouble here. They get caught unaware. Nikwa gets glimpsed back. Ake will go down first. Mad goes one way, and it's Alliance just trying to Delta split out. Nikwa does get finished off. Loda on the run, but they're in hot pursuit. The Dro can't run fast enough. Run, pretty lady, run. She'll spawn some Spiderlings out of her corpse as Cloud9 find a 3-0.
Yeah. Alliance kind of feel pressure to try something like this, and they chose the wrong place. This is, I think, the only Sentry Ward that Dire have on the map, and it's not freshly placed. It's been there for a minute and a half.
Yeah.
So a little bit unfortunate here for Alliance. They do have a gem on Bane, or maybe he dropped it. No, I think he was carrying it, but he wasn't running in front of the movement there, so might not have seen the Sentry. And they end up paying really hard for this. And in addition, the bottom tier 3 was claimed earlier by Bone 7, so there is actually Rax prospects here as Mad gets glimpsed and just instantly killed off the bot lane. Are they? They're just going to go mid. We could be looking at the end of the game here almost. They could get double Rax.
The Glyph has already been deployed. You look at buybacks, they have none on their 3 dead heroes. It's a 2v5 on the field. Mid lane of Barracks will go down, and they just rotate bottom straight away. Forget about the ranged Barracks. It's all about the melee. Alliance feeling the pressure here. Nikwa coming up in about 10 seconds. Arrow flies through, sidestep by Envy, but he walks back into it. Oh no! Do they have the damage to bring him down though with only a few heroes alive? And it looks like it's a resounding no. Dagon almost finishes off Ake, but he barely lives, able to mech up, and he'll head back to the well. So not too bad for Alliance. Yes, they do lose the mid lane of Barracks, but bottom stays standing.
That's pretty bad for Alliance.
Could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
Imagine if Envy didn't get hit by that arrow.
It's true, they could have lost, but apart from that, that's almost as bad as it gets. Look at that graph. That's pretty ugly.
It is.
But yeah, I thought Cloud9 were going to get 2 lanes of Rax, so I actually agree. They got away with only losing 1 lane, but the problem is looking at Alliance's strength right now, what is it really? It's very difficult.
Bane, that's about it.
It's very difficult for them to get into a fight and get an initiation that's going to give them an advantage. The only way I see them winning the next fight is if Nikwa plays like a god and gets a 3 or 4 man call, maybe even twice is necessary.
But now they're having the problem of just follow-up damage.
Oh, that's a big item for Loda.
Yeah, look at Loda's inventory. Not much progression, but there's the big one. Will help keep him alive, but he's still not hitting particularly hard. How's Pycat doing in his progression? Actually making some pretty big strides. Maelstrom now in the inventory. Blade of Alacrity picked up, probably a Yasha coming out next. So slow and steady for Alliance. They're farming a bit more, but then you look over at Envy, and this big bad Bruiser's already got an Eye of Scotty and another 3,000 gold to boot to work towards his next item.
Well, we're going to hear a sound we've heard a couple of times this game. Alliance are looking for something, but once again, all the information that Cloud9 just have from this Broodmother, it's a nice pick. We've talked about this a couple of times in this tournament, how Cloud9 really seem to favor vision in their lineups with like something like a Zeus for the ultimate to get information, and Broodmother, arguably one of the absolute best scouts in the game.
Yeah, here we go. Initiation. Nikwa 4 stabs in, but only catches Misery, not your ideal target. Fiend's Grip comes out onto Envy, but he survives through it. Mad just gets chopped down straight away. Envy doesn't have an Aegis here, getting very low. Met comes in, he stays alive a bit longer than planned. A 1 for 3 as now Pycat isolated. They'll find a kill on Fata. He commits suicide with the Bloodstone, but this is bad news bears for Alliance. A 2 for 4 with Pycat, 1 hit from death. He's going to walk into this dire dance party and get zapped down for good measure.
And Bone7 actually has Boots of Travel ready. He could port to the bottom lane right now and start hitting these barracks. The only buyback available, well, they don't know what buybacks Alliance has, so maybe he just plays it safe here, but he could put some pressure here and actually force a buyback or just get the range tracks for free, but he's going to stay with his team top. A little bit surprising. This is like the ideal time to BOT, and now, okay, now he's going to do it when the wave reaches, and going in here.
The split push is real.
Starting to hit the melee racks, changed his mind after 1 attack. Oh, that was a bit tankier than he thought, and then...
No glyph for the Radiant here. This is actually not as scary as I thought it would have been. Cloud9 won't rush towards the base, and no buybacks will be deployed.
They're missing the Ram. Troll Warlord is not there to destroy the buildings, but they're still going to take a range Drax bottom. They're going to only lose the Troll in the fight, and no, it was 4 for 2, right? They lost the Chen as well, maybe?
It was 5 for 2. That last fight?
Oh yeah, 5 for 2, yeah, you're right.
2, yeah.
I think they, yeah. So they're gaining even more advantage, and it's very difficult to see Alliance's way back into this. I feel like the entirety, like what I liked in their draft and what was the potential just didn't happen in the first 15 minutes, and if they fall behind with this draft at minute 15, then it's going to get very, very difficult. Ultimately, you see Bone7 with this Dagon 5 and 3k gold as well, now minute 30, after he got crushed in lane.
Yeah.
There's not much to do. Chen with the Axe Scepter and Mac Disruptor. Force Staff probably going to be working toward an Axe as his next item. Envy starting to be 6 or well, 5 slotted very soon, and Zeus, even though he has died a few times in the game, still keeping up pretty well with the amount of farm he should have at this point.
A couple of big items coming out.
There we go. Now he's looking pretty good.
Following that last fight on him, as well as the Broodmother making progress towards another big one. Arrow flies into the Roche pit, actually hits the Direwolf, makes things a little easier for Cloud9. Nikwa takes a Dagon to the face, and the ultimate from Zeus brings him down to the threshold for the Troll to finish him off. Glimpse back onto Pycat as Ake tries to run away. Brood will try to finish him off. Shallow Grave TP is there. Can Ake actually make it out? He can. No way to interrupt it. But Cloud9 will command and conquer the Roche pit, and that's another Aegis of the Immortal in the inventory of the Troll Warlord.
And there's a little bit of cheese as well.
Yummy, yummy cheese.
Spiders love cheese.
Oh, yeah. Classic.
Classic.
Stolen gem in the inventory of Moosery here. And Cloud9 will just go back to farming for now, playing this one slow and steady. As you mentioned, they know how far ahead they are, or at least have a good idea of it. And there is no reason to take unnecessary risk here.
I think they might try to push and end the game in 40 seconds when they have 2 Zeus ults and Disruptor has Static Storm again. They're going to come off cooldown at the same time, and you can just start sieging with the Troll with the Aegis. Like, how are Alliance going to kill him twice? They have to Berserker's Call or grip him on the first kill, and then it's going to be fairly easy for Cloud9 to at least get 1 trade-off with the double Zeus ult and just a couple of Arc Lightnings and a Bolt.
Yeah.
And that's even disregarding anything Disruptor can throw. A Dagon 5 on Brood. They will always be able to find 1 or 2 kills while this Troll gets jumped. And do Alliance have the buyback is the question. I don't really think so.
Yeah, Cloud9 also have a lot of sustainability. Big Daddy did go for that Aghanim Scepter after Mac, a very common build, but huge healing potential that he can put out, and now has that Granite Golem. So this Troll getting even tankier as he's in those front lines. It looks like maybe thinking about a Butterfly next. Talisman of Evasion in the inventory of Envy. Possibly just some value evasion for now. Nope, upgraded into a full Butterfly because, hey, why not? He's got more money than he knows what to do with.
Well, he wants to buy a Butterfly with it, it seems.
Brood's got her big in also. Synergizes very well with Zeus.
Oh, boy. Oh, this is going to be ugly. There's 1 Zeus ult. It's going to set up a glimpse on Ake.
And he will have a Shallow Grave. That'll keep him safe for now, but the Thunderstrike might be enough to just finish him off after the Grave. Nope, he's got the mech as well as a heal, but now load up BKBs to get the E-Blade off. But that's your 9-second BKB charge, and it's on cooldown for over a minute. Troll Warlord caught inside of the Fiend's Grip. Remember, he's the one with the Aegis, but Static Storm is there to break it up. Mad gets blown up. Moonlight Shadow used by Alliance. Bane in the Grave. All of a sudden, it's a 4v5. Bottom lane of Barracks destroyed. And 1 lane of Barracks standing between Cloud9 and victory.
Yeah, that lane of Barracks is probably going to stand there for a good 10 seconds if they don't go on Troll instantly. He still has his ultimate ready.
They've got a glyph, 12 seconds. It'll buy them a little extra.
I agree. They can buy it. Oh, well, maybe they
They're
don't
going to
care.
do this in style. They want the tier 4s.
Style points for Cloud9 here, going for the tier 4s right away. And
this should be the final fight for Alliance. They've got to make what little hold they can here. They're not even going to do it. That's it. GG is called. Pycat taps out, and it is Cloud9 that'll take this series 2-0. And that will end Alliance's run here in Starladder Season 12.
Nice game from Cloud9. After their Brood got completely shut down in lane, they kept their cool. They knew they were getting their farm. They get Bone7 a comeback. The early aggression from Alliance didn't, or the early aggressive pick rather, with the Bane Mirana first two didn't really work out. The Chen, I feel like, countered it very nicely. The creeps were there to assist when they wanted to go for a Nightmare gank. They had obviously they got the Chen heal fairly early. He could farm the jungle very easily, and yeah, I think Nico actually played a really good game on the Axe, and he had to, and that's the reason it got, I want to say, this close. It wasn't really a close game, but he really needed to play a great game with the start he had, and he did his job. But Alliance ultimately, they needed the Axe to do very well early, and they needed the rotations to work to get any sort of advantage in the game and play from ahead. I mean, Drow does not play well from behind.
I'm not sure there's much more you could ask from Niqua in that kind of a performance.
No,
he had some great Berserker's calls. He farmed so well in the lane, a very fast Blink Dagger, and once he picked it up, he moved around, made as much space as he could for his team, but simply put, it just wasn't enough. The Broodmother as well, kind of a pocket pick that worked out phenomenal. 7-0-3, well played by Bone7, didn't die a single time in lane. You talked about that lane matchup being so favored for Axe, and it obviously was, but once the laning stage broke down, Brood completely took over.
Yeah, he got the tower, he got the jungle, and got a nice comeback. And I was questioning why Cloud9 banned Legion Commander over Axe, and I'm still not sure. I think it would have been easier for Bone7 if it was a Legion Commander, but regardless, like he made it look pretty easy, even though he got destroyed in lane. He still outfarmed pretty much everyone in the game and had a huge impact. In the after minute 10, it seemed like he was doing a lot on the map.
All right. So with that, Cloud9 move on to the next round in the lower bracket. We're going to have a break and then come back. The analyst panel will be breaking down this series. We've got a winner interview. My bad. Looks like it's with No Tail. So we're going to go to that right now.
All right. Well, Jesus. I'm here with No Tail, Big Daddy from Cloud9. It's your second time in Bucharest. It's second time playing here, Dota 2. This time you've already progressed further than the previous time. How much pleased are you with your personal performance?
I think my personal performance has been okay. I've had better tournaments, but I've definitely had worse. So overall, I'm okay with my own performance, and so far, I think me and the team are getting more and more in the comfort zone of playing together.
All right, well, you have just taken a definite 2-0 series against Team Alliance, getting through them. The first one was you gained an early lead, but it kind of was tentative getting that to conclusion. The second one, you obviously progressed further and gained an early initiative and made it work. So was it something you prepared against Alliance? Was it something in the second game just was smoother because you tuned into your opponent game style?
I think what you said just there was spot on. The first game was a lot on me. I could have made this game much shorter, I feel, than the second one. And the second one, it kind of worked more the way I wanted it to work. So one thing is reading the opponent, the other one is playing better. It's both.
Well, you have already progressed to the lower bracket finals, which is going to be the first series tomorrow. So are you going to stay and watch some other games, or are you going to go to the hotel, get something to eat, chill, watch replays, get ready for your opponent?
I mean, right now I'm dying to get a shower. I haven't eaten anything today, and looking forward to some good sleep before tomorrow, if they let me.
Well, congrats once again. It was a very cool series, very cool Dota 2. Let's give it up for Cloud9. So yeah, we're gonna cut to a short commercial break, after which we will throw it right back to our analyst desk for more info for you guys. Thank you.